Welcome back to my channel. Here I have my little cute helper, but today I'm going to take you along with me as I make some homemade yogurt and just share the process in case you want a detailed how-to or making homemade yogurt. I always thought it was something that is really hard to do until I actually went ahead and tried it and realized it is super simple. So let me show you how. So here I have 8 cups of raw fresh cow's milk. You can also just do whole milk, but I'm using a saucepan that is a little bit thicker so that it doesn't burn on the bottom quite as easily, but you just want to heat it over a medium heat, and I just stir it every once in a while. Once it starts to heat up a little bit more, it might form a little skim on the top. You can just keep taking that off, but every once in a while I will stick in my thermometer to see where it's at. You want to heat it to 200 degrees, just very slowly. So this is a little bit of a longer process as far as heating it, but just every once in a while stir it and check the temperature. So while my milk is heating up, I like to prepare my ice chest. You can also do this in your oven, but for me, with having to let it set for 7 to 10 hours, I use my oven quite a bit, so I like to put it in an ice chest so that my oven is open to be used. But what I do is I just put a blanket in, and then I have 2 jars of pretty hot water, and I'm just going to kind of put the blanket around that. Over here I have another one, and I'm just going to put this all in here and close up the ice chest, and it can start just kind of warming up everything till I'm ready to set my yogurt in here. So it is getting closer to being at the temperature I need it, which means that it's really creating a skim on the top. So I just take it off before I stir it. It will also kind of create like a skim on the bottom that you will be able to feel when you stir it. So I just try to not scrape the bottom, but just kind of stir it to regulate the temperature. So let's see where we're at. Okay, we're getting close to 190, so we're almost there. Now that I have reached the temperature of 200 degrees, I'm just going to keep skimming off the layer that comes, and just turn this off and let it cool down to 135 degrees. So I'll just keep taking that layer off every once in a while and checking the temperature, and then once it gets down to 135 degrees, we are going to add in our yogurt. Okay, so I let my milk cool down to 135 degrees, and now I'm just going to pour about 2 cups of it into here. And then I'm adding 5 ounces of plain Greek yogurt. You can also just do, if you don't want Greek, you can just do regular plain yogurt, but you want it to be a plain yogurt. Just gonna whisk that in there really good. And then I'm gonna add it back into the rest of the milk, whisk it all up really good, and then put it in my jars. Just gonna pour it back in here. And while you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not scraping the bottom, because it kind of creates a layer in the bottom that you don't really want to get with your yogurt. Okay, now I'm going to put it through a strainer. I'm just using the strainer that I use to strain my milk after I milk my cow. But you could also use like a cheesecloth or just a really fine strainer. But the purpose of this is just to get yourself a smoother yogurt by straining it like this. So I'm just going to let it strain through there, and then we'll put it in our ice chest. I am going to put it in here now. My blanket is nice and warm, so I do not set it right against my water jars. I have the blanket in between, and then I also put the blanket in between my yogurt jars and just cover everything up. And it's just a little after 10, so it'll probably be like 8-9 o'clock tonight by the time I'm able to take it out again. Once the yogurt is set, after about 10 hours, I just store it in the fridge. This is one of my favorite ways to use the yogurt, make it into a yogurt parfait. You can also put it through your blender. You can add fruit, you can add maple syrup or honey for sweetener. Basically, whatever you want to add, you can. But it'll stay fresh in the fridge for a couple weeks if you just store it as is and don't have any ingredients added. But yeah, I hope this gives you the confidence to go try it yourself. And if you do, I would love to hear how you like it.